So the questions on people's minds right now is that are we in the midst of a melting up phase, or are we in the midst of a severe correction about to happen in the markets? And also, when it comes to gold and silver, is that I believe silver is about to have some serious downward movement to come. Let's get straight into it. Don't place a trade based on what you'll see in this video, because there is no guarantees of making a profit in the market. It takes you a long time to become a good trader. So this video here is just to educate you to become a much better trader. Alrighty, traders, before I do start, if I am running a sale right now to my trading course, flash sale, $7. If you need help with your foundations, your chart reading, I've got a couple of trading systems in there as well too, mindset, go to johnsflashsale.com to grab that $7 trading course. I normally sell for $500 or whatever, but I'm just doing it, guys, at $7 for a limited time to help you guys out. So go to johnsflashsale.com, grab that $7 trading course. I know you're gonna absolutely love it. So let's actually start off with the stock market, and then I'll get into silver and gold. So a lot of people right now are being worried about, you know, what's going on, and what's going on with the Dow Jones, the Nasdaq, and the S&P. Now, the really interesting thing about what's going on here is every time we get this pullback, people are worried about, you know, is the market going to crash? Is this the time that we roll over and we start to crash? All right. So let's have a look at this here. Let me start off with a bit of a technical basis, then I'm going to run through some fundamentals of why I believe, no, this is not the top of the markets. Yes, we may see a 10% correction, but no, it's not the top of the stock market. In fact, I see a 40,000 Dow. But let me actually talk to you the reasons why I see that. Firstly, remember, one of the worst things that us traders can do is just trade based on what we see or what we think, right? So if I look at the stock market now and I see that the stock market has made this low, and we made a higher low, we made a high, we made a higher high, now we made another higher high. So who's clearly in control here when we're looking at trend analysis? The buyers, right? Because we're making these higher highs, higher lows. So no matter what I think, no matter what I hope for, no matter what I see with inflation or raising interest rates or anything like that, right? That may or may not affect the markets. The buyers are still in control. We have a high, a higher low. So this here could just be this, and then we start to do this again, and then away we go to 40,000. So right now, the buyers are clearly in control. It doesn't mean we can't get some downward movement, okay? Just because the buyers are in control, means we step up, all right, guys? So when we go through these periods through here, this is not the time for a crash. This is just a pullback because we're making higher lows, higher lows. So I would not be too surprised to see the Dow Jones hold here for a little bit, maybe even around a Fibonacci level. So I go from the ultimate low to ultimate high point. If I go to a Fibonacci, maybe if it does start to drop down, possibly it might even hold here, or we may get a drop to the downside, you know, somewhere around about this sort of 50% level, maybe more. And then I wouldn't be too surprised then to see the market pick back up and then go straight back up. So I wouldn't be short in the market right now, no way. It would be really risky type of trade if you're looking at that. Now, if we have a look at the Sp500, we can see the sort of the same thing here. Yeah, we are starting to get a little bit of weakness coming in, you know, in the markets here when it comes to the relative strength and so on and so forth. But what's happening here? We're still getting what? We're still getting these lows, higher lows. The market's rallied up, and now we're getting a pullback. So I wouldn't be too surprised, guys, to see this thing start to pick back up and start to go for another move to the upside. Now, obviously, the caveat is always, yes, the market can correction of 10 to 15%, right? If we do get a 10 to 15% correction, I'm very confident in saying that's going to be a major buying opportunity before we start to see a major move to the upside. So, guys, this rest of this year, I see a major move to the upside. Major move to the upside. Maybe for the next month we might get that correction, but right now the market's not telling us that correction is likely to be started, or it's starting right now. Again, that's always the hard case, because you never know if the market's going to keep correcting, if the market's going to continue to pull back here. That's always the hard part here. But I do see, even if we did get a drop back below these levels, then I see major buying opportunities for the rest of the year. So don't just think now, guys. Think for the rest of the second, third, and fourth quarter of this year as well too. Looking at the Nasdaq is the outlier, which is really interesting. What we're getting here, we're getting a low and we're getting a lower low. We're getting a lower high right now and we're starting to roll over. So maybe the Nasdaq is going to start to lead the way on the downside, where the tech sector is actually quite weak right now. So maybe we're going to start to see a lot more selling in the Nasdaq and in that, which is going to drag the market down. So Nasdaq is actually looking quite weak right now. We have actually broken down. So again, it's looking quite weak. On that side of notes, I don't see the tech sector getting hit too hard. Now, what I'm going to say too hard is I don't see a full blown 40% crash. Maybe again 10 to 15% correction out of that. Now, let's look at some of the fundamentals with what I'm seeing here. When it comes to the stock market right now, guys, short-term interest rates are still low. We know the government's going to come back in and buy the bonds up to keep the long-term interest rates down. It's just a matter of time. It's not a matter of if, it's just a matter of when. So we know that. And we know that there's massive amounts of stimulus in these markets right now for us to continue having an enormous, massive blow-off top. So like a 1999 tech bubbles phase, we are likely to see that. So therefore, guys, and everything I've just said there on a short-term fundamental basis, I seriously see a 40,000 Dow coming. And I'm going to stick to that. Yes, we may see short-term corrections, but I see a massive move coming second and third quarter this year. So the next couple of months, next 3 months or so, guys, is probably going to be a bit rocky, rocking the boat type thing. But then after that, we're going to see some enormous moves. Or maybe the move's going to start earlier, just like I did last year, right? We had the Black Swan event, and then it was from March to like where we are now. And it just kept going up and up and up. So maybe we're going to get that. So yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see how that all plans out there. Short term, guys, it's really hard to say. The buyers are still in control, so I wouldn't be short in the markets right now. But if we're looking at sort of a longer term or looking at the rest of this year, guys, I see much higher on the markets there. Let's have a look at gold right now. And gold has just continued to be quite weak here, right? They're quite weak, meaning we're not getting really any strength through here. The line, we still see my moving average trending down. We're still getting this overall downward trend through here. So it's going to be really interesting to see whether or not we can do the buy start to pick back up here in the short term. Again, guys, unless we get back above 1820, the sellers are still in control, because the market stair steps, right? So when the market goes down, then the market goes back up. This is just the market does this, right? Stair steps back up and then boom, back down again. Stair steps back up and boom, back down again. We may get a stair step back up and boom, back down again. So that's always the interesting part when it comes to gold. So very interesting time for gold. Do we actually hold here and break back down, or do we rally? That's always the question mark. Now, on the flip side of what I've just said there, looking at silver, I do believe silver is about to break and break hard. And the reasons are the following. Firstly, is that we've been making highs, lower highs, and lower highs in silver, where we are right here. So we're clearly making lower highs all the way down on silver. We are getting this sideways phase through here when it comes to, once again, silver. And we're getting a bit of a lower high, and now we're rolling over, and now we're right at this long-term support level. So I wouldn't be too surprised if we did see some sort of sharp flushing down when it comes to silver, and a lot more, and again just a nice sharp flush down, because it's probably going to be a lot of stops down the bottom here, especially down the bottom here. There's probably going to be all these stops down the bottom here, and we are starting to roll over on the short-term basis. Let me bring up, say, the 20 moving average. You can see what's happening here. So again, guys, I wouldn't be too surprised if we did start to break back below there and start to break this support level. Once this support level breaks, then it's all over, and we're starting to build some nice strong pressure and nice strong momentum towards that. So traders, go to johnsflashsale.com, again, $7. If you need my help, if you need some understanding of how to read these charts, some good chart reading strategies, foundations that goes into a good trader, mindset, trade management, all that sort of stuff, then just go to johnsflashsale.com. You'll be able to see all the details there. And also leave a comment below, guys. Let me know. Do you think we're in the middle of this melt up phase on the stock market? Or do you think we are in the start or the beginnings of something major when it comes to a crash? And also, let me know what you think about what's going on overall, big term, long term, when it comes to silver and gold, and also the mining stocks. I personally believe mining stocks, guys, I personally believe mining stocks are going to be one of the greatest buying opportunities now for this decade. And remember, guys, it just takes time for when I say this decade, right? Next 5-10 years. It just takes things time. But I truly believe that's going to be one of the best long-term, if you're not a trader, the best long-term investing opportunities is probably likely to be the metals and the miners. That's what I think, guys. Let me know what you think in the chat box below.